Have you ever woken up in the morning and just felt off? Not exactly sick, but like your motivation has packed up and left without telling you? Maybe you look around and think, what happened to the joy I used to feel? If you've ever felt like the world is moving faster than you can keep up with, or that the spark in life has dimmed just a little, you're not alone. Depression after 60 is far more common than people think, but it's also something we don't talk about enough. It can sneak in slowly, almost quietly, maybe after retirement, or the kids moving away, or even the loss of a loved one. Suddenly, the days feel a bit heavier. But here's the good news. You can feel better, and it doesn't always require therapy or medication. There are simple, daily mindset shifts that can truly make a difference. In fact, studies from the National Institute of Mental Health suggest that our brains are capable of change, what's called neuroplasticity, even into our 70s and 80s. That means your thoughts, your routines, and even your emotional patterns aren't fixed. You can rewire how you feel. In today's video, we're going to explore how seniors over 60 can beat depression without therapy through 7 daily mindset shifts. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because the last one might be the most powerful of all. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Alright, let's dive in with the first mindset shift. This one might surprise you. Start your day with purpose, even if it's small. You might be thinking, but I'm retired. What purpose do I need every day? But here's the thing. A study published in JAMA Psychiatry found that older adults who reported having a sense of purpose were significantly less likely to develop depressive symptoms. Just waking up with a small goal, like walking the dog, watering your plants, or calling a friend, can give your brain a reason to engage with the day. I know a woman named Carol, who's 68 and lives alone. After her husband passed, she felt like she was drifting. Then one day, she started volunteering to read to kids at a nearby elementary school. It wasn't anything fancy, just one afternoon a week, but she said, "I feel like I matter again." That's the power of purpose. It doesn't have to be big, just meaningful. Next, reconnect with the people who make you feel seen. Loneliness is one of the biggest contributors to depression in older adults. In fact, the CDC reports that social isolation is associated with about a 50% increased risk of dementia and a 29% increased risk of heart disease. But here's the thing, not all social time is equal. You want to focus on quality over quantity. That one friend who really listens? That family member who always makes you laugh? Reach out to them. Schedule a regular phone call or coffee date. Even a short chat can boost your serotonin levels, the brain chemical that helps regulate mood. And if you're thinking, but I don't have anyone like that anymore, let me tell you about Ben. He's 74, and after losing touch with most of his old friends, he started going to a local community gardening club. He didn't know a single person at first, but now, every Saturday he's there, laughing and sharing stories while pulling weeds. He told me, "I didn't know I needed people until I had them again." Mindset shift number 3. Talk to yourself like someone you love. We all have that little voice in our head, the one that says, "You're too old, you'll never feel happy again," or "You should have done more with your life." But here's something powerful, you can talk back. In psychology, there's a method called self-compassion, and it's exactly what it sounds like, treating yourself with kindness, especially when you're struggling. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, has shown that people who practice it experience less anxiety and depression and more resilience. So the next time you catch yourself thinking something negative, ask, would I say this to my best friend? If not, why say it to yourself? Try this simple practice. Each morning, look in the mirror and say, "I'm doing my best. I'm worthy of love. Today is a new opportunity." It might feel silly at first, but over time, your brain begins to believe it. And finally for today, move your body, even just a little. You've probably heard it before, but it's worth repeating. Exercise is one of the most powerful natural antidepressants out there. And no, you don't need to run marathons or hit the gym every day. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that just 15 minutes of moderate exercise a day, like walking, stretching, or dancing in your living room, can reduce the risk of depression by up to 26%. I once met a woman named Jean who started dancing every morning to her favorite oldies. She said, "It's not about burning calories. It's about reminding myself I'm alive." That's the spirit. Movement creates energy, and energy sparks joy. So, if you've been feeling stuck, try this. Put on your favorite song and move for just 2 minutes. That's it. See how you feel. Then maybe tomorrow, do 3 minutes. It's not about pushing hard. It's about starting small and staying consistent. Now that we've covered these essential mindset shifts, finding purpose, connecting with others, speaking kindly to yourself, and moving your body, let's move on to something just as important in part 2. How small daily changes, like what you eat and how you rest, can add years to your life and bring back that sense of lightness and joy. Now that we've talked about the power of purpose, connection, self-kindness, and movement, let's shift our focus to something that often gets overlooked when it comes to mental well-being: what we put into our bodies and how we treat our time. Because believe it or not, your mood isn't just in your mind. It's in your gut, your routine, your sleep, and even how you greet the morning. Let's start with one simple but powerful shift. Eat foods that feed your brain. You might be surprised to hear that there's actually a field of science called nutritional psychiatry. It looks at how the food we eat affects our mood, and it's fascinating. According to a study in the journal Nutrients, people who follow a Mediterranean-style diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and olive oil have significantly lower rates of depression. It's not just about what you avoid, it's about what you add in. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish like salmon, antioxidants from berries, fiber from leafy greens. These aren't just good for your heart, they're good for your happiness. I know a gentleman named Robert, 69, who used to feel sluggish and down most days. He made one simple change. He swapped his usual breakfast of sugary cereal for oats with blueberries and walnuts. Within weeks, he felt clearer, more alert, and surprisingly happier. He told me, "It's like the fog started to lift." So try this. Each day, aim to add one brain-boosting food to your plate. Just one. Small steps make a big difference. Now let's talk about something that might seem unrelated to mood, but is deeply connected: your sleep. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. It's when your brain clears out toxins, organizes memories, and resets emotional balance. But many older adults struggle with sleep, whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, or feeling rested in the morning. And the effects go far beyond feeling tired. According to research from Harvard Medical School, chronic sleep issues can increase the risk of depression in older adults by nearly 50%. So, how do you shift your mindset around sleep? Start with a nightly wind-down ritual. Turn off screens at least an hour before bed. Dim the lights. Maybe sip a cup of chamomile tea, read a calming book, or do some gentle stretches. I met a retired teacher named Linda who began writing down 3 things she was grateful for each night before bed. Not only did it help her fall asleep faster, but over time, her outlook on life became more positive. "I realized I was ending my day on a high note instead of with worry," she said. Which brings us to the next daily shift. Focus on what's going right. This one's deceptively simple. Our brains have a negativity bias, an evolutionary trait that made sense when we had to watch out for wild animals, but not so helpful now when we're just trying to enjoy life. We tend to remember what went wrong more than what went well. But here's the magic. When you actively look for the good, you find more good. Gratitude journaling, even just jotting down one positive moment from your day, can literally rewire your brain over time. A study in Psychology Today found that people who practiced gratitude regularly experienced lower levels of depression and anxiety, even after just 3 weeks. Try this. Each evening, ask yourself, what made me smile today? It could be something as simple as a bird at the window or a kind word from a neighbor. Let me tell you about George, who's 75. He lives alone and used to feel like each day blended into the next. But once he started keeping a joy list, just little moments he wrote down daily, he told me, "Now I look for joy, and I find it more often than I expected." Next up, get outside and let nature lift your spirits. This might sound too simple to matter, but science says otherwise. According to the University of Michigan, just 20 minutes in nature can significantly reduce levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Whether it's tending a small garden, sitting on a bench at the park, or walking through your neighborhood, fresh air and natural light have a calming, balancing effect on the brain. Even cloudy days help. It's not about sunshine, it's about changing your environment and reconnecting with the world around you. There's a man named Elias I once met, 80 years old and sharp as a tack. Every morning, rain or shine, he walks to a nearby pond and feeds the ducks. "It's my way of saying hello to the world," he says. That simple ritual brings him peace and a sense of purpose. And now, I want to address something I hear often. I'm too old to change. But let me tell you something important. You're never too old to create a new routine. In fact, having a predictable daily rhythm can give you a sense of security and control. Two things that deeply support emotional well-being. Start your day with a short list of non-negotiables. These could be as basic as: open the blinds and let light in. Take 5 deep breaths before getting out of bed. Make a cup of tea and sit quietly before checking your phone or watching the news. When you do these small things each day, you signal to your brain, this day matters. I matter. That mindset shift alone can spark big emotional changes. By now, you're starting to see how small, steady habits, what you eat, how you sleep, what you focus on, how you move, who you connect with, can completely shift your emotional state. But there's one more piece that ties it all together: motivation, especially when you don't feel like doing anything at all. So now that you know these powerful daily habits that can improve your mood, your energy, and your quality of life, let's move on to something even more important in part 3. How to stay motivated and overcome the common aging challenges that often get in the way. If you're enjoying this so far and want more simple, science-backed tips to stay healthy as you age, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We share helpful videos just like this every single week, and we'd love to have you as part of our community. Alright, now let's talk about something that every single one of us wrestles with from time to time: motivation. Because let's be honest, even if we know what we should be doing, eating well, getting outside, calling a friend, it's not always easy to actually do it. Especially when your body feels tired, your mind feels cloudy, or the day just feels heavy. So how do you keep going, even on the tough days? Let's start with this mindset shift: progress, not perfection. You don't need to get everything right. You don't need to wake up with boundless energy or feel joyful every minute. What matters is that you try, that you show up for yourself, even if it's just a little bit. I once met a man named Paul. He didn't start exercising until he was 72. At first, he could barely walk around the block without stopping. But he kept at it, just 10 minutes a day. Within a few months, he had more energy, less joint pain, and even better sleep. He looked at me with this huge grin and said, "I feel 10 years younger." That's the power of steady, imperfect progress. And science backs this up. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that just adding 10 minutes of light activity each day can extend your life and improve your mood. That's it. 10 minutes. Start there. Another key mindset: don't do it alone. Depression feeds on isolation. It tells you you're the only one who feels this way, that no one understands. But that's just not true. Whether it's a walking buddy, a faith group, a class at your local rec center, or even an online community, connection is the cure. Remember Carol? The woman who started reading to children once a week. She once told me something that stuck. The first step out of depression was stepping out of my house. Even if you don't feel like being around people, do it anyway. Give your brain the social nutrients it needs. Now let's talk about another hidden challenge: chronic pain and fatigue. These can sneak into your day and quietly steal your motivation. You might feel like you're just too sore, too tired, or too foggy to do anything. But here's a powerful truth: movement creates energy, not the other way around. Gentle activities like stretching, tai chi, or chair yoga can actually reduce pain by increasing circulation and reducing stiffness. The Arthritis Foundation reports that people who engage in regular movement experience less daily pain and better emotional health. And if you can't move much today, that's okay. Maybe you just breathe deeply. Sit by a sunny window. Listen to uplifting music. Healing doesn't have to be loud or fast. It just has to be intentional. Which brings us to a vital emotional shift: redefine what success looks like. When we're younger, success might mean careers, achievements, raising kids, or building something. But as we get older, success starts to mean something else entirely, like peace, like presence, like waking up and genuinely enjoying your morning cup of coffee. Give yourself permission to celebrate small wins. You took a walk today. That's a win. You made a healthy meal. Win. You reached out to someone you care about. Big win. I know a woman named Grace who started keeping a victory jar. Every time she did something that felt good, no matter how small, she wrote it on a piece of paper and dropped it in the jar. After a month, she read them all out loud to herself. She laughed, cried, and said, "I didn't realize how far I'd come." You could try the same, or write it in a journal, or just say it out loud at the end of the day. Today I showed up. That's more than enough. Now let's not forget the emotional side of things. Because so often depression isn't about one specific thing. It's this heaviness that sneaks in. And one of the most powerful tools to combat that heaviness is this: stay socially engaged. You might not always feel like talking, but studies show that loneliness can be just as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's no small thing. Staying connected through a club, a call, a walk with a neighbor can literally save your life. And it's not just about avoiding loneliness. It's about belonging. We all need to feel like we're part of something, like we matter. And guess what? You do. I once spoke to a retired nurse named Helen. She said, "I spent my whole life taking care of others. When I retired, I felt invisible. But then I started mentoring young nurses at a local college. They made me feel seen again." That sense of contribution brought her back to life. So ask yourself, who can I help? Who can I encourage? Sometimes the fastest way to lift your mood is to lift someone else's. And finally, this one is simple but mighty. Remember that joy is still available to you. It's not just for the young. It's not something you had and lost. It's still here waiting. You just have to invite it back in. Through music, laughter, sunlight, creativity, learning, dancing. Yes, even dancing in your kitchen at 70-something. If you've been through loss, grief, or trauma, you may feel like joy is something you're not allowed to feel anymore. But please hear this: you deserve joy. You deserve to feel light. You deserve to laugh again. Healing doesn't erase the past, but it helps you carry it with more strength and grace. Now that you have all these tools, daily habits, emotional shifts, and simple ways to stay connected and energized, let's wrap it all up in our final section with a motivational push and a simple challenge to get started right away. Because aging isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. And it's one you get to write. So here we are. We've explored the mindset shifts, the small daily habits, and the science-backed ways to gently lift the fog of depression. And now it's time to tie it all together. Because if there's one thing I hope you take from this entire video, it's this: you have more power than you think. Aging doesn't mean you're fading. It means you've lived, learned, and now you get to take care of you in a way that's more intentional, more compassionate, and more meaningful than ever before. Let's quickly revisit some of the most powerful ideas we talked about. Not to repeat them, but to help you feel how they all connect. You saw how having purpose, even a small one like calling a friend or planting a flower, can anchor your day and give your mind something beautiful to lean on. You learned how movement, even light stretching or walking, can literally lift your mood by changing your brain chemistry. We talked about how food isn't just fuel, it's medicine, and how simple meals packed with nutrients can support your mind just as much as your body. We explored how sleep, routine, and daily joy are not luxuries but lifelines. And you now know that your social connections, those phone calls, smiles, and chats, are as important to your health as any prescription. But above all, I hope you've begun to see that your thoughts shape your reality, that your mindset matters. Because the stories we tell ourselves, "I'm too old, it's too late," no one understands. They aren't facts. They're just thoughts. And thoughts can be changed. With kindness, with practice, with patience. And if that still feels hard, remember, it doesn't all have to change overnight. In fact, it shouldn't. Start small. Start with one thing. Maybe today, you'll take a walk outside, even just to the mailbox. Maybe tomorrow, you'll eat a handful of berries with breakfast. Maybe tonight, you'll write down one thing that made you smile. Just one step. That's where momentum begins. As Dr. Michael Greger, a leading physician and researcher, says, lifestyle choices, what you eat, how you move, how you sleep, can often do more to prevent and treat chronic illness than pills or procedures. And that includes your mental and emotional well-being. Now, I'd love to offer you a little challenge, something simple, something doable. Over the next 7 days, pick one habit from this video. Just one, and commit to doing it every day. It could be taking a 10-minute walk in the morning, eating a healthy breakfast, calling a loved one, writing down 3 things you're grateful for, stretching before bed. It doesn't matter what you choose. What matters is that you choose you. And while you're at it, please let us know in the comments what habit you're starting with. We'd really love to hear from you. Your journey could inspire someone else who's watching right now and feeling just a little bit stuck. If there's a topic you want us to cover in a future video, something you're curious about or struggling with, drop it in the comments too. We're here to help, and your voice matters. And hey, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We're building a community of older adults who are embracing this stage of life with energy, purpose, and joy, and we'd be honored to have you with us. You're not alone, you're not broken, and you're not done growing. This is your time to rediscover what makes you feel alive, to give yourself permission to thrive, and to know deep down that every day is a fresh chance to feel better. So here's to you, to your courage, to your growth, and to living your best life at any age. Take care of yourself, be gentle, and remember, you're never too old to change your mind and change your life. We'll see you in the next video.